Pambazuko is a registered Kenyan non-governmental organization and was formed in the year 2000. The organization's main focus is directed towards researching, documentation and preservation of the unseen and unheard instruments and instrumentations. The study involved two marginalized communities in Kenya, namely the Kambe in Kaloleni district of the Coast Province of Kenya, Tharaka in Tharaka district in the Eastern Province of Kenya. Kambe is located in Kaloleni district at the Coast Province of Kenya. It is estimated that the Kambe tribe has a population of about 15,000 people. Their mainstay activity is small-scale mixed farming. Notably, Kaya Kambe, the Kambe Shrine, was recently listed as a World Heritage Site by the UNESCO. The Kambe community has a wealth of musical instruments used for different songs and occasions. The instruments range from drums of different sizes and shapes to flutes, whistles, shakers, and leg jingles. To understand better the diversity of songs, instruments, and instrumentations by the Kambe community, it is imperative to sample out a few presentations by the following groups. This is Johnson Mumba Mwayayi, the group leader of Gonda Kaloleni. The group is from Kaloleni district of the Coast Province in the Republic of Kenya. Although drawing its roots in Kambe, the group is composed of several musicians from the wider Mijikenda tribes that have helped complement and add flavor to their music and instrumentation. Gonda is a very old genre of music that has been passed down generations. The group's leader contends that they have been singing and dancing to Gonda since they were youths. They do not wish to see Gonda music become extinct, and that is why they have both the young and old in the group. Gonda is performed at occasions such as harvesting seasons, weddings, and funerals. The Gonda group uses several instruments to create their music. The first instrument is the upatu. This is a piece of roofing iron sheets and is used to provide the rhythm. Initially, a cut tree log was used. Next is a small drum known as chapuo. The chapuo is used to provide a steady beat to the music. This drum is known as chinganga and is considered the main drum of Gonda music. The chinganga is used in other genres of Mijikenda music as well. For Gonda music, a pair of chinganga and chapuo is used. Then there is the bumbumbu, the stool-like drum. The bumbumbu is used as a bass drum that provides a steady beat in the music. And finally, there is the mushondo, which is the solo drum. All these drums are made from the wood of muhula, mugogo, or the mutsu trees. Nzunga or jingles are made from the iron plates that are shaped like a banana and filled with round iron bearings. The group also uses a whistle type of instrument known as ngoli. The ngoli is made from a gazelle horn, locally known as taritari. The ngoli produces a sharp sound which is used to alert people of a group's presence ready for performance. Mr. Mwayayi says that he inherited this particular ngoli from his father, who was a musician. He says his father fabricated this ngoli in the early 1920s, and as such, Mr. Mwayayi treasures and is obliged to take great care of it. While dancing, the male dancers wear koko on their feet. These are dried mango shells that have magonda seeds in them. Magonda seeds come from the African lily plant. The koko provides a high-pitched shaker sound, and when combined with jingles or nzuga, a dual sound is realized. The hando is normally worn by women, but men also wear it, especially when dancing in groups like Gonda Kaloleni. The hando is made from a material that is pressed and cut. The shape of the hando amplifies the movement of the waist when a dancer moves. Ostrich feathers, also called mbele, are worn around the shoulders and back. They magnify the shoulder and back movements when one dances. The shoulder movement is very crucial to dancing Gonda music. The vigorous body movement in Gonda keeps the dancer's fit and acts as a deterrent to some diseases like high blood pressure and diabetes because they sweat a lot when dancing. There are several other outfits such as kishutu, which is multicolored, the gundu, which is red in color, the marikani, also known as bafuta, which is white, and finally the kikoi, which is white, yellow or blue. Beads as shanga are used as accessories. Mr. Mayai explains how the drums are fabricated and tuned. To fabricate a mushondo drum, a frame is carved out of a felt muhula, mugogo or motsu tree trunk. Holes are bored on markings around the circumference of the frame, and then pegs are fitted in the holes after the skin has been placed and pulled tightly around the circumference of the frame. Initially, they used the skin from gazelles, locally known as kulungu, but because it is illegal to use wild animal skins, they have resorted to using cow skin instead. In the middle of the drum skin, there is a black tar-like ring which is called mutungu. This is a kind of tar or rubber that is tapped from the muungo tree. The tar gives the mushondo a unique sound that is very different from the other drums. The bumbumbu, which looks like a stool, is made from the wood of a tree known as motsu, or lately coconut palm tree trunks. It is imperative to note that most of the trees and plants that provide material for the fabrication of some of these instruments are becoming extinct. Different methods are applied to tune the various drums. The tuning of some of the drums is done by pulling on a rope called miyambo. However, the mushondo and the bumbumbu drums are tuned by warming the skin using fire. The chapuo is tuned by pulling the ropes, miyambo, and moving the ring on the circumference of the drum. This process is known as kokota, or hitting. By hitting or pushing the ring outwards, the tuning pitch goes low, and pushing the ring inwards gives the chapuo a high pitch. A similar procedure is used to tune the chinganga drums. Indeed, music and dance serves various needs amongst different communities, but for the Kambe community, this cultural activity does propel them to another level. This group is known as Mwana Mtanzo. Apart from other cultural functions, they also perform at spiritual ceremonies. The group leader is a traditional healer and uses her music to exorcise evil spirits at homesteads and in individuals. The music is specially performed when a traditional healer passes on. The group leader adds that she was not taught these arts by anyone but acquired the gift through her elder sibling when she was a girl of tender age. She concludes that this is indeed a healing music. This group is called Ngoma and is 8 years old. Among the group's collection of instruments is a flute known as chivoti. The chivoti has 6 holes and was originally fabricated from bamboo stems or muanzi, as is known locally. Due to the scarcity of the bamboo in Kambe, musicians have resorted to using electrical piping to fabricate the chivoti. The difference in the material used for fabricating the chivoti impacts greatly on the tone or sound quality produced by the instrument. The chivoti made from bamboo produces a smooth and pleasant sound, while the sound produced by the chivoti made from electrical piping is very shrill and thus affects the overall sound of the music. Ngoma also uses a drum they call bezi dramu, which is an adaptation from the Western acoustic drum set. The other accompanying instrument is made from the fruit of the pumpkin plant, locally known as muhango, which grows wild. This percussion instrument is known as ndonga, kironje, or kitoma. Inside this instrument are magonda seeds from the African lily plant. Due to scarcity or unavailability of the wild pumpkin, Kambe musicians have resorted to using tins and stones instead of dried pumpkin shells and magonda seeds. This has resulted in the creation of an alternative instrument called yanga. The yanga produces a very loud and tiny sound that does not blend well with other instruments in a performance. To a certain extent, the sound produced by the yanga overshadows other instruments completely. The kayamba is a percussion instrument that is made from reeds, magonda seeds, and coconut palm tree wood. This instrument is played by shaking it. A subtle wrist movement and the thumbs hitting onto the piece of wood placed at the middle of the kayamba create a percussive sound. The kayamba is mostly used as an accompanying instrument. The mangoloto is a whistle type of instrument made from dried coconut shells. It has 3 holes and is played by blowing into the hole at the top of the shell. This is an instrument mostly used by herders to kill boredom while out grazing their animals. This is Mr. Manyola Muyesi, also known as Mulambo, who leads the group Simba Ngoma. The group performs at functions such as weddings, political meetings, and social gatherings. They will perform a song titled Mulungu Apanga Kila Mutu Riziki Ye, which translates to God blesses each individual. The instruments used in this performance are a set of drums, shakers, and a flute. The Tharaka community is situated in Tharaka district of Eastern Province in the Republic of Kenya. It has a population of about 98,300 people. Although a semi-arid district, the Tharaka people engage in small-scale farming and are also pastoralists. They have a rich cultural heritage, particularly in folk songs. The instruments that were used in the early days consisted of drums, wooden plates, jingles, flutes, and other basic wooden materials. Depending on the occasion, folk songs were performed by men or women or even both. The group leader of Kerogo Daraka, Mr. Peter Njage, explains that they do perform songs in genres such as Njongo, Mwenjero, Kivosho, and Audi. Drums known as Ngoda are used in song genres like Ngodo and Mwenjero. Mwenjero songs are usually performed to welcome and entertain guests of various social status, while the Njongo songs are performed to celebrate good harvests. The Ngoda drum is made from a tree called Musavi. The wood from the Musavi tree is preferred because of its light weight, as the drums are usually strapped on the drummer's shoulders. The skin used for the Ngoda drum is that of the monitor lizard, or alternatively that of a cow. The sound produced by drums made of cow skin is of very poor quality compared to that which was originally made from the monitor lizard skin. Most drummers in the Taraka community cannot afford to buy or fabricate these drums due to the scarcity or non-existence of Musavi trees, monitor lizards, and some of the original materials used to fabricate the drums. A Ngoda drum, for instance, cost about 5,000 Kenya shillings, which is the equivalent of $65. Many forests that used to provide resources for raw materials used in fabricating traditional instruments are government protected and are thus out of bounds to the locals. The other musical instrument is called Rubaru. Mr. Asento Matumo of Kirungu Daraka Dancers explains. This instrument is used to perform a dance called Kivusho. It is made from a tree known as Mukau, which is a species of camphor. The Mukau tree is preferred because its wood is light and produces a sharp sound when banged by a small stick tied at the back of the main piece of wood. There are metal rings attached to it. The cowrie shell rings originally used are said to have been obtained from traders from the coast of Kenya through barter trade. These cowrie shell rings are not available anymore, and instead other metal rings are now used. This is a flute made from a species of bamboo found along River Tana. The flutes have not changed since the raw materials are still readily available. These are scrap metals improvised to produce music. This is a complete deviation from the normal practice. However, when combined with the other mainstream musical instruments, they produce another brand of music. Although sharing a common cultural practice in music, Kambe and Taraka communities exhibit individual and unique music instruments and the art of instrumentation. However, evident are common challenges, especially in instrument acquisition and cultural adulteration. Cultural influence from the larger community groups have tended to erode or even swallow up the otherwise vibrant traditional music from the smaller groups. Well, all is not lost if serious attention is directed to challenges afflicting the communities in as far as cultural music is concerned.
Both Kambe and the Raka communities need to be supported to start projects that will enable them have easy access to original and traditional raw materials. For instance, agroforestry projects to grow those indigenous tree species that are required. For example, bamboo growing will not only provide raw materials for the making of instruments, but can also be used to generate income from furniture making. This will address poverty reduction issues. There is also the wildlife legislation and policy. This should be reviewed to allow controlled, sustainable cultural uses by ethnic groups such as the Raka and Kambe. For example, the rearing of monitor lizards for their skins can also serve as an income generator by being a tourist attraction, and the skins can also be sold to the fashion industry for production of items such as belts, handbags, shoes, many other products. There's a need to come up with sensitization awareness campaigns targeting the local traditional instrumentalists to make them appreciate and revert to the use of traditional, original raw materials for the fabrication of traditional music instruments. The findings of this study should be shared with those who participated, and Pambazuko should financially be supported to undertake the feedback section. This study, we believe, should be replicated to cover other minority ethnic groups in Kenya, and this will enable Pambazuko to come up with a national action plan to mitigate against the disappearance of traditional instruments and music of all these groups. Pambazuko says asante sana, or in other words, thank you.
Yeah.